Yeah, we had an incident earlier this year where a company had pumped some oil into a little tributary, a river, that went into the Lee, which is part of the canals, and it basically caused an oil slick all the way down as far as Olympic Park, my old Ford Lock there. We had a lot of birds, swans and that. We had to get the Swan Sanctuary to come and get them out of the water because the oil just stuck to their feathers. You know, the oil was gathering around all the rubbish as well.
Learning about this enormous oil spillage on River Lee and its dreadful effects on the wildlife got me thinking about the human impact on the biodiversity in London's canals, a leisure destination with a rich history dating back to the Industrial Revolution. The canals don't only cater a large group of people, from cyclists to retirees, but is also home to a diverse wildlife. I'm going to find out how we can save and preserve the wildlife in the canals of London. I'm going to London City Hall to meet a natural environment policy maker to find out more about the threats to the environment and wildlife in London. Why is it important to preserve green spaces and biodiversity in London?
So London's actually a very green city compared to many other cities. We have a fantastic legacy of parks and green spaces, and they're important not just for their intrinsic value, the value they have for wildlife, for beautiful landscapes, but they're actually really important for people. Having access to green space, being able to enjoy green space has significant health benefits, but also if you manage rivers and canals in different ways, it can also be used to help with climate change adaptation, so helping to prevent surface water flooding, helping to cool the city as the climate gets warmer. Rivers and canals become really important because they actually provide corridors which some wildlife can move along to get around the city. If you end up with isolated populations, they're much more prone to disturbance or other factors which might result in them declining over time.
What impact do people and pollution have on the canal life and the biodiversity? Especially we've been looking at how littering affects the canal.
One of the biggest challenges is London's population is growing. It's currently about 8.5 million people. And the expectation is that population will grow to 12 million people by 2050. So population growth results in more activity on the canals, and the canals were designed originally as transport corridors and they've got fantastic recreational use. So that increased activity has some impacts on wildlife, but also the more people using the canals makes more people appreciate the value of the canals. So there's a benefit there too. Clearly, littering, people leaving litter is a problem.
After speaking with Peter, I'm curious to find out more about how people are working to preserve London's waterways. We're here at Limehouse Cut in East London to talk to the organisers and volunteers of the Towpath Task Force, a group that cleans and maintains the canal.
The human impact on the canal has an enormous effect on the wildlife, especially during the spring and the summer months when there are nesting birds and fledglings. Without keeping the environment as clean as possible, they would be poisoned. Although not everybody is antisocial, nonetheless they have an impact on the infrastructure, they have an impact, they do leave litter, unfortunately, not everybody, and we also have a lot of windborne debris that gets blown in from the surrounding streets. It always ends up, when it hits the water, it ain't going anywhere, it's going to stay there. The Towpath Task Force has had an enormous impact on the canal because it simply provides us with the manpower to deal with the day-to-day jobs that we wouldn't otherwise be able to cope with.
We do a lot of work along the canals around central London, picking up litter, clearing overgrown vegetation. On sunny days we do painting, we paint the lock gates and that sort of thing. So it's all fairly basic manual work, but it's all good fun.
What can be done with the litter collected on the canals? I'm meeting a London-based artist to find out more. How did you get inspired to work with plastic especially?
As my studio is near the Regent's Canal, I became very interested in how plastic and other man-made objects find their way back into the natural environment, and so I started finding objects from the canal and making installation and 2D works with them.
And you mentioned that you get some donations from the River Trust as well. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. So the Canal and River Trust are largely run by volunteers who look after the locks. So they've been collecting interesting bits, especially of hard plastic, which have got caught in the locks, and deliver it to me to work with.
What message do you have to the public? How can they get involved?
Definitely have a look at the Canal and River Trust website, have a look at Surface Against Sewage, and they have a lot of, Thames 21's another good one. They have a lot of events, free events, family events, to do with cleaning, sustainability, and that kind of thing with the waterway. If you're by a waterway or just on the street, if you see any litter, just pick it up and put it properly in a bin, because even if it seems like a suburban area, small pieces of litter can find their ways into the water or into the drains, so just pick it up.
The canals in London have a massive potential to support a wide range of wildlife. However, they are under threat because of the litter pollution and incidents like the oil spillage. Therefore, it's our responsibility to take care of and save the life on London's canals.